do we need to have a knowledge on the
See, your voice is breaking. Please speak a bit loud, please.
Hello, I'm audible now. Hello.
But very less voice is coming. Please go ahead.
Do we need to have a knowledge on SQL Server? Because I have a knowledge on the SQL language, SQL language. But
I'll explain now. Now I'll explain very clearly. Okay, no?
Okay.
Hello, Pushpalata, can you hear me? Like today, we are going to discuss about introduction part of the Power BI. Right. See, Power BI is data analysis and visualization tool. See, it is used to create different types of visualizations. Before that, analyzing data. Okay, no? Coming to next scenario, nowadays, data science, artificial intelligence, these are trending scenarios in the market. So, data analytics means, data analysis means, is it part of data science or not? These are common doubts. So actually what happens, you know, when you are working with data science related scenarios, programming scenarios will be there. For example, Python, R language, this type of scenarios. Development related, programming related activities. So class started, that's why you can hear me. Okay, no? Right. Class started now. So Python and R language, completely programming related, right? So now if you are strong in programming and analytical, I mean analytical in the sense programming related, you can go and work with these scenarios. Otherwise, you can work as data analyst, because if you are coming from non-technical background, suppose you are not strong in coding, right, then you can work with the data analyst position, right? So what is this data? You see, it is part of data science, no doubt, right? Okay, now what is this data analyst position? Why we are doing with this, and what are the prerequisites there? What are the tools there, right? Let us see now, right? So coming to next scenario, data analyst means analyzing data and creating reports. This is the position, right? So now, Raj, can you hear me? Name is showing Raj. Can you hear me? So you can see my screen, right? So coming to next scenario, data analyst means data analysis and creating different types of reports, visualizations. Fine. Why we are analyzing data and why we are creating report? So here important thing is analyzing data means for example, business intelligence, basically decision making. For example, we have some business, some XYZ organization, e-cart business, right? So e-cart business means lot of data will be there. Customers, more number of customers, more data. So these are all will be there. And moreover, it is completely into business sector. For example, they have some product and some mobile. This year they launched mobile in the cart. After that, they are going to check status. Status means what? Business status. How many units sold out? What is the status of the business? Means like profit, loss, no profit, no loss. This type of scenario. This is very much required for business people. But see, I already discussed they are going to maintain lot of data. Lot of data they are going to maintain. So now for this mobile, they are given some offer this year because of some festival or something. They got some sales amount. So they will calculate, say, what is the status of the business, profit, loss, no profit, no loss, like that. But see, millions of the customers. millions of these sales. How they can do it manually? Analysis. They can't do. They cannot do this analysis manually, right? So in this scenario, we are going to use some tool. But tool is not enough, because basically you have to store the data in the beginning, right? How you are going to store data in the form of databases, because millions of the records there. We are going to use database to store that type of data. Right? And in the same way, to perform analysis and to create report, we need some tool. Why we are creating reports, sir? See, our client is non-technical people. So you are analyzing data, you are giving data directly, they cannot understand. Suppose without introduction, I am starting Power BI. Can you understand? Can you follow? No. Same thing will be there, right? So what happens, they're going to store data in the form of databases and to create report, they perform some data analysis. After that, they are going to create report. This report shows clearly what is the status of the business for that product. So based on that report, client can go for decision making. If profit, how to get more profit. Loss, how to make it into profit. No profit, no loss, how to bring it to profit level. This type of scenarios will be there. But you can't do these things manually. This is quite common scenario for any environment, for any project. But you cannot do it manually. So you need some tool. Data analysis and visualization tool. Visualization means what? Report creation. The tool is Power BI. Right? But remember, this Power BI tool is data warehouse tool. And Power BI is data warehouse environment. So now we got some idea. What is this Power BI tool? What we can do with this Power BI tool? That area we got some idea now, right? Coming to next scenario. Now, before going to discuss about Power BI, it's better to discuss some points from database and data warehouse, right? If you don't know what is database, what is data warehouse, how can you work with the data warehouse tool? Am I right or not? Let us see that. See, generally what happens, client stores data in the form of databases. We call them as data sources. These are OLTP sources and volatile sources. OLTP stands for online transaction process. Volatile means anytime anytime you can connect it to your database and you can make modifications to your database. For example, you take banking sector. In banking sector, after opening bank account, your data is going to store in bank database. After that, every day, not every day, general scenario, you are going to perform transactions in the bank, deposits, withdrawals, online transfers, different scenarios you are going to perform, right? In this scenario, your data is going to modify, and that type of environment is called as OLTP environment, volatile environment. But we cannot use our tool. We cannot use our tool directly on this environment. Because suppose you started working with analyzing data on this database, you cannot finish your analysis because data is going to modify, right? And that is the problem. That's why we need separate environment to perform these activities. That is data warehouse database. OLAP environment, online analytical process, and it is a non-volatile environment. So non-volatile means, for example, there is some data in our source, you copy data from source to data warehouse, then it becomes non-volatile. Non-volatile means you cannot modify data. So in data sources, you can modify data, but data warehouse database, you cannot modify data. So here the scenario is, these databases contains current data, and these databases contains historical data. Right? And current data, historical data. Historical data means what? Data is not going to modify. So this type of environment is required for us to perform data warehouse, I mean data analysis and report creation. What is the difference between databases and data warehouse? Databases volatile, modifications allowed. Data warehouse non-volatile, modifications not allowed. Now you'll get some question in your mind. The question is, I'll tell you very clearly. For example, here we have some table products. 10 rows of the data is there in the table. Sir, why you are talking about the table? This is common question again. Because in sources, RDBMS databases, you can store data only in the form of tables. There is no other facility. Right? That's the reason why I'm discussing about table. What table contains columns and rows? Structure and data. Right? Structure and data. So for example, initially you copied this table, structure and data from source to Power BI. Sorry, data warehouse. This is okay, found on. But your source is volatile. Volatile means modifications allowed. Somebody inserted 10 new rows into this table. Now you have to copy that data, right? Because whatever the data client is maintaining, that data is required for us to perform analysis and create report. That is the point. So can I copy this? Yes, why not? You can copy. So your important point is initial data, after that modifications can be copied from source to data warehouse. But after copying data into data warehouse database, you cannot modify it. So that is the scenario. Got my point? Right, and so now your doubt is clear. Everything can be copied from source to data warehouse environment. But remember, after copying data, you cannot modify. That's why it is historical. That's why it is historical data. So this type of environment is required for performing data analysis and report creation. Okay. Na? So next question, how this data Power BI tool is related to data warehouse. Better to maintain clarity from the beginning, right? Suppose here we have Power BI tool. What are the tasks we are going to perform in Power BI? Copy data from source, transform data, DAX data, creating visualization. So these tasks we are going to perform. Right, these tasks we are going to perform. Only copy data. For example, you have some table and product, same table will take. There is some column sales amount in this table. Copy data, for example, you are copying table from source to Power BI, like this. Oh, you're just copying data, but you're not going to modify anything, right? You're just copying data, but you're not modifying data, right? So that means no modifications, right? So copy data is not going to modify anything in the table. That's all. Not table, database, whatever it. Transform. So transformation means not modification, and transformation means bring data into required format. That is the meaning of transformation. Suppose we have like this. Suppose we have products table, sales amount column. We are going to copy table from source to Power BI. Now the requirement is greater than 3,000. I mean, sales amount is greater than 3,000, then only copy it. Otherwise, don't copy it. So there is some requirement. See that you are writing some condition. Sales amount is greater than 3,000. So what happens? Only that condition satisfied data will be copied from source to Power BI. So now I'm writing some condition so that condition satisfied data is copying from source to Power BI. But it is not modifying anything. I'm just copying only required data from source to Power BI. Am I right or not? Right, Andy? It's not modifying anything, right? No, it is non-volatile only. Copy data non-volatile, transform data non-volatile. So this type of scenarios comes under transformations. Next, for example, you copied data from source to Power BI. After copying data, you are going to create report, visualization. For example, you are going to create report with the sales amount. Of course, some other columns also there, but sales amount also there in the report. Just assume that you have monthly sales amount. Right? You have monthly sales amount in our database, but to create report, you need annual sales amount, but you don't have annual sales amount. What to do? Okay, na? You don't have annual sales amount, but you are going to create report. For creating report, you need annual sales amount. So here I'm doing some calculation. Sales amount into 12. 12 means what? Annual sales amount only, right? Only. So you can create report. Remember, you're doing some calculation here. This type of calculations purpose we are using DAX, data analysis expressions. Data analysis expressions. But it is also not modifying data. After that, we are going to create visualization. Visualization means report, so no modification. See, whatever the operations you are going to perform in Power BI environment, they are non-volatile operations. That's why Power BI is data warehouse tool only, no doubt. It is pure data warehouse tool. Right? So this is the introduction part of the Power BI. Now tell me if you have any questions.
Sir, may I know when it will be going to start actual batch?
Already started. Already started
Okay,
today.
sir.
This is this is demo for students. For me, it is first class only. I'm giving demo means them training started. Tomorrow onwards, I'll go with more scenarios, detailed scenarios, because today I have to give you overall our view, whatever we are going to do. Even for SQL Server also we are going to work, because SQL Server queries knowledge is required for Power BI development.
Sir, as a curiosity and some friends' suggestion, I have one question. What is the career scope of Power BI? Because in market there are lot of tools like IBM Cognos,
Yeah, we
Tableau.
have a lot of tools in the market, but still it is good for this. Okay, na? Very good. We have very good market for Power BI. And we in this scenario, it is really you know, it's really good tool, and we have a lot of openings for this tool. You can check websites, job websites. In India, we have some job websites, right? Check it.
And in career scope, in terms of career scope,
That's what I'm saying. If you check those things, we can find out. Career scope means what? Like how many? I mean, years it is going to. I mean, companies are going to use like that, because it is Microsoft product. You don't worry about those things. Any questions? Anybody?
Hello, Suresh. This is Rajesh.
Speak loud, please. Tell me.
So database means if we perform any change to the original data, so that becomes a database, right? Original data,
One
whatever.
second, please. 1 second, please. Rajesh, 1 second. Somebody asked a question about duration. Who asked a question? Name, please. This is 1 month training. Okay, no? SQL, not complete SQL. SQL queries, whatever SQL required for Power BI, that will be covered. But that 1 week extra time will be there. Okay? That means it takes all. ADF is different. This is Power BI and SQL. Okay. Right. Anybody, any questions?
So duration is 45 days, right? Duration
It takes around 40 days. And
40 days. Okay. And the timing is fixed, time slot 7 to
same
8.
time, no changes. And okay, no?
Can it be modified to evening or like that, or it is fixed? It can't be modified, right? To evening, it can't be rescheduled to evening.
Evening, no batch. Right now, evening, there is no batch, only morning. Morning, only 7 a.m. India time, that's all.
7 to 8, 1 hour.
Morning, evening batch, so it takes around 2 more weeks. Okay, no?
Okay.
Okay, then. See you tomorrow.